Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of history's most epic, passionate, and let's be honest, complicated love stories. Forget the rom-coms you see in movies. This is the real deal. We are talking about the romance that blossomed amidst the chaos of revolution and the thunder of cannons, the story of Napoleon Bonaparte and his empress, Josephine. So, picture this. It's 1795 in Paris. The French Revolution has left the city buzzing with a mix of excitement and danger. In the middle of all this is a young, ambitious, and slightly awkward general named Napoleon Bonaparte. He's a rising star in the military, but in the glittering salons of Parisian society, he's a bit of an outsider. And then, he meets her, Josephine de Beauharnais. She's 6 years older, a widow with 2 children, and the absolute queen of the social scene. She's graceful, charming, and has a magnetism that draws everyone to her. Josephine had narrowly escaped the guillotine during the Reign of Terror, a traumatic experience that left her with a deep desire for security but also a taste for the finer things in life. From the moment Napoleon laid eyes on her, he was utterly captivated. He wasn't just attracted to her, he was obsessed. He began writing her a series of letters, and these aren't your average thinking of you notes. These letters are pure fire. He pours his heart out, writing things like, "I awaken full of you. Your image and the memory of last night's intoxicating pleasures has left no rest to my senses." For a man known for his cold, strategic mind, this level of passion was completely unexpected. He saw in her not just a beautiful woman, but a symbol of the sophisticated, elegant world he wanted to conquer. Josephine, on the other hand, was a bit more practical. She saw this intense young general and recognized his ambition. He could offer her the protection and stability she desperately needed for herself and her children. So, did she love him back with the same fiery intensity? At first, probably not, but she was charmed by his devotion. And in March 1796, they married in a simple civil ceremony. Just 2 days after their wedding, Napoleon was called away to lead the French army in Italy. This is where their story really takes on a dramatic, cinematic quality. He's on the battlefield, winning incredible victories and reshaping the map of Europe, but his mind is constantly on Josephine. He bombards her with letters, begging her to join him, pleading for her affection. He'd write, "No letter from you. I am in despair. My soul is sad. My heart is a slave. I love you. I love you." Back in Paris, Josephine was living her best life. She was enjoying the parties, the fashion, and the attention of other men. She didn't quite grasp the depth of Napoleon's feelings and often delayed her trip to Italy, making up excuses. To her, his letters might have seemed a bit much. When she finally did join him, their reunion was passionate, but the dynamic was already set. He was the devoted pursuer, and she was the somewhat distant object of his affection. But things were about to change. While Napoleon was on his campaign in Egypt in 1798, he received devastating news. Josephine was having an affair back in Paris. He was absolutely crushed. The man who could command armies and topple empires was brought to his knees by a broken heart. He wrote to his brother, "The veil has been torn. It is sad when one and the same heart is torn by such conflicting feelings for one person. I am tired of human nature." This was a major turning point. When Napoleon returned to France, he was determined to divorce her. Josephine, realizing she was about to lose everything, her status, her security, and the man who, she now understood, truly adored her, rushed to meet him. She and her children, Hortense and Eugenie, who Napoleon was very fond of, begged for his forgiveness. Seeing her genuine remorse and tears, Napoleon's anger melted away. He couldn't bring himself to leave her. He forgave her. From that moment on, their relationship transformed. The power dynamic shifted. Napoleon was no longer the starry-eyed admirer. He was now the powerful first consul, and soon, the Emperor of France. He still loved Josephine deeply, but the blind adoration was gone. He too began to have affairs. Yet, through it all, their bond remained incredibly strong. They were a power couple in every sense of the word. In 1804, at the magnificent Notre Dame Cathedral, Napoleon crowned himself emperor, and then, in a gesture of profound affection and partnership, he crowned Josephine as his empress. It was the ultimate symbol of their journey together. She wasn't just his wife, she was his partner in destiny. She was an expert in style and etiquette, and she helped shape the image of his imperial court. She was his confidant, the one person he could truly be vulnerable with. He trusted her judgment and valued her advice. They were a team, but there was one shadow looming over their imperial happiness. Josephine could not give Napoleon an heir. As emperor, securing the future of his dynasty was his primary duty. The pressure was immense. For years, they both hoped for a miracle, but it never came. This led to the most heartbreaking chapter of their story. In 1809, Napoleon made the agonizing decision to divorce Josephine. He needed a son to inherit his empire, and he had to secure a political alliance through a new marriage. The scene of their divorce is one of history's most poignant moments. They both wept as Napoleon read a declaration, stating that it was for the good of France that they must part. He said, "Far from ever having given me cause for complaint, I can, to the contrary, only congratulate myself on the devotion and tenderness of my beloved wife. She has embellished 15 years of my life. The memory of them will remain forever engraved on my heart." Even after the divorce, their connection didn't end. Napoleon ensured Josephine kept her title of Empress, her residence at the Château de Malmaison, and a generous income. He wrote to her constantly, his letters now filled with a tender, familiar affection. He married Marie-Louise of Austria and soon had the son he so desperately wanted, but he would often visit Josephine in secret. He'd bring his young son to see her, a bittersweet gesture showing that he still considered her family. His last words to her in a letter were, "Never doubt my feelings for you." When Napoleon was first exiled to the island of Elba, Josephine was distraught. She wrote to him, offering to join him, but he never received the letter. Sadly, she fell ill and passed away in 1814 while he was still in exile. When Napoleon heard the news, he was devastated and reportedly locked himself in his room for 2 days, refusing to see anyone. He said, "I have truly loved that woman." Years later, during his final exile on the desolate island of St. Helena, Napoleon's thoughts often returned to her. He reflected on their life together, the highs and the lows, the passion and the pain. And as he lay on his deathbed in 1821, his final words whispered into the silence were, "France, the army, the head of the army." Josephine, in the end, even after empires rose and fell, after battles were won and lost, after a new wife and a son, it was her name that was on his lips. Their love story wasn't a fairy tale. It was messy, complicated, and filled with betrayal and heartbreak. But it was also a story of a profound, unbreakable bond between two extraordinary people who shaped each other's destinies and in doing so, shaped the course of history. What do you think? Was it true love, or a partnership of ambition and convenience that grew into something more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. We'll see you in the next video.